Adrian,
Yeah.
what are we doing here today?
We're going to finally get into training.
All right, we're going to do a series of videos covering different topics. And like Adrian said, the first one is going to be on training. Now, why a training video when there's so much information? And I think the issue is that there's so much information out there that people actually then are basically confused with all the information out there, when training is very simple. Applying the principles to training and applying the principles to building muscle is very simple.
Yeah. Be that building muscle, gaining endurance, becoming faster, becoming stronger. It all boils down to one rule, really.
Really, yes, which we will go into in a minute. And I see that all the time on social media especially. There's all sorts of different training protocols and principles and training programs, and in the end it confuses people constantly. Yeah. And in the end, all of those training programs and principles work, but it's how you apply them that is the secret. So, what do you think, Adrian? If I run off through a few set of training principles, and why will they work?
Okay.
So we got FS7. What's FS7?
FS7 is called Fascial Stress Training 7, developed by Haney Rambon, and that boils down to progressive overload.
Yep. The principles behind that though is what? It's 7 sets, wasn't it?
7 sets, 12 reps between, and 30 seconds rest between each set. Yeah. Based on an isolation movement at the end of a session to stretch the fascia, or like the sleeve around a muscle. All right. Yep.
But basically it works because of progressive overload.
It does.
All right. What about, like, some people advocate low rep training? Why does that build muscle?
Low rep as in like powerlifting style, like 3 sets
Well,
of 4,
anything, just low rep training.
I would probably say that boils down to progressive overload.
Oh, okay. Well, what about high rep training? Some people advocate that you need to train high reps to stimulate muscle growth.
Yeah,
Why would that work?
I'd probably have to say progressive overload.
Okay, so we seem to be on the similar sort of thing here all the time. Yeah. All right, so we're talking about progressive overload, regardless of the program. Yep. All right. What's progressive overload?
Progressive overload is the, in basic layman's terms, it's putting your body through a stressful state so the muscle can adapt, break down, and then become stronger, and then adapt again. Yep. And rinse and repeat.
Yep. So, how do you apply that to your training? So what is progressive overload? Say if I've got a chest workout, how do I apply progressive overload to my chest training?
Okay, so be that you're a newbie or an experienced lifter, you walk in and you're, okay, I'm gonna put, let's say 60, 70 kilos on a bar. And you rep out and you max out at say 15 to 16 reps. Next time you do that, you keep that in mind, or keep track of it, that okay, I got 15 reps at 70 kilos last time. My goal now is to try to put my muscle under more stress than it was the previous week. Yep. So your aim is to get 16, 17, 18. Yep. That's progressive overload.
Yep. So in a nutshell, every time you go and train, you try and beat the numbers that you did last workout.
You beat your best.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, you can't confuse your muscle.
Exactly right.
You can't confuse your body.
I saw a quote that if you want to confuse your muscles, try to teach it algebra.
Mark Loveliner, I think you mentioned that.
Yeah. All right, that sounds like a lot of work. How am I going to be able to track my training?
Okay.
And apply progressive overload. How am I supposed to remember what I did last workout for chest?
Okay. Well, very easy. If you can read and write, you keep a journal. Yep. However, a lot of people won't carry around a journal on their. Look at that. That's a nifty bit of equipment you got there, Kimo.
There's your journal.
There's your journal.
Yep. And what I'll do is I'll just pull this out and I'll show you that I have an iPhone. An iPhone has a notes app in there. And in this notes app, I've got lots of different notes, reminders and everything for work-related stuff, but I have also got a training page.
Like a training log.
A training log. So what I've got here is at least 6 months worth of training programs.
Yep. So you can go back 6 months ago.
I can go back 6 months ago and have a look at a workout. So we have got, for instance, today we are doing a rear posterior hamstring focused workout.
Yep.
So I've got deficit deads, and last week I did 110 for 10, I did 130 for 8, and I did 150 for 3. So straight away, my goal today is to beat those numbers.
Yep.
Either beat 110 and do it for 11 or more reps, but I'll most probably start at 130.
Yep.
So I did 130 for 8 on my second set, but my goal is now to get at least 10 to 12 on the first set. Then I'll go to my 150, and I got 3 on my third set, but on my second set I reckon I'll go for 6.
Yep.
And then I'll most probably try to do a double at 160.
So you're going to put more stress on the muscle.
So the whole goal is that I put on more stress on that muscle than I did last week.
Exactly. Now, one thing I've noticed is a lot of people will just walk around and go, I'll do that there for 10. And the human memory isn't that good.
No.
And if I didn't write everything down, because I write everything down myself, I wouldn't remember what I did 2 weeks ago.
No, I wouldn't remember what I did yesterday.
Yeah. So keeping track of everything keeps you more accountable for your actions.
Exactly
as well.
right. So I see this here at the gym all the time, and everywhere else. I'll ask people as they walk in, so what are you training tonight? And they'll turn around and say, oh, I don't know, I might do a bit of biceps,
chest,
I might do a bit of chest, you know. I think with that sort of attitude to training, you're destined to failure.
Yeah.
So you should know exactly what you're going to do. When we train, when we walk onto the gym floor, we know exactly what we're going to train. We know the sets, we know the exercises, we know how many sets, and we know the reps and the weights that we are going to lift and aim for. And when you do that, and you've got it written down in front of you, you're going to try and aim for it a lot more than if you're trying to think. Last week you go, oh, I think I did 7 on this, you know. I'll go for 8. Whereas in fact you might have done 9. Yeah. And you haven't actually tried to beat your numbers.
But yet your muscle knows exactly what you've done. So hang on. We are not under the same amount of stress we were last week. We have no need to grow large. We have no need to grow stronger.
That's right. Yep. And exactly right. Your muscle will fight to its last inch of its core to not build muscle, to get bigger. And you have to force it to grow. If you go to the gym every week and you do 100 for 3 sets of 10 on the bench press, nothing's going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Nothing's going to happen.
You're going to get very good at benching 100 for 10.
Now, if you want to start applying progressive overload to your training now, it's simple. Keep training the way you are now. If your program tonight was chest, 4 sets of exercise for chest, instead of you just going through the motions, write down the numbers in your phone or onto a journal, write down the reps you did, write down the weight you did, and then next week when it comes to that chest workout, you look at that chest workout and you try to beat those numbers.
Exactly.
Either by putting a little bit of weight on the bar or a few more reps. And then you're applying progressive overload. Now, look, it's not going to happen every week either, though.
No, definitely
You have to remember that. You're not just going to continually get stronger. But if you drew a graph, it would find that there might be dips, but there'll be highs. There'll be dips, but it'll be slowly going up. And if it's slowly going up, if you're getting stronger, you're building muscle.
Yes.
Because as far as I'm concerned, a bigger muscle is a stronger muscle.
Exactly it.
So start applying that to your training. Progressive overload, easy. All right, let's move on to, a lot of people ask all the time, how many days a week should I train?
I think how many you want.
Effectively, look, it really boils down to your availability, your time. How many days do you want to train? We train
4 days.
4 to 5 days?
Yes,
lately we've been coming in and throwing in an arm
workout. Just for fun.
But it boils down to, if you've got a really physical job, well then you're going to have to take that into account, that you might be able to train 5-6 days a week. But some people can though too. I think you have to just work that out yourself. There is no set rule. I know people that train 7 days a week. I know people that train only 3 or 4 days a week.
Damon trains for 2 days a week. And he's like
Exactly
Strong
right.
as an ox.
So yeah, I think there's no set rules again to that.
No.
It's how many days a week you want to train, I think, is the most important thing, and then take into consideration your job and your recovery rates.
Yeah.
If you've got a very physical job, you might not be able to train more than 4 days a week.
I would say more than likely that how many rest days do you need?
Yep.
Because that's when the body grows. The body grows when you rest.
Yep.
When you train, you break it down.
Yep.
So I would say prioritize your rest over your training, if
Yep.
that makes any sense.
That's right.
But do it in all moderation. Whatever suits you,
Yep.
do that.
Currently, we're on a split where we train 2 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 2 days
Yep.
off. But that being said, we've been coming in and doing arms on
Yeah.
one of those 2
Wednesday or Saturday, depending
That's
on
right.
the board.
Yeah.
Yep.
In terms of your training, you should focus on your compounds.
Compound movements.
Which is your big movements, which cover your legs, your chest, and your back.
Yep.
Really, they're your big compound movements. So for chest, all your pressing movements.
Pressing movements.
Yep. Dumbbell press, bench press, heavy pressing movements. For legs, obviously squats, leg press, belt squat. They're the 3 main ones that I'd say.
I would say people who don't understand what a compound movement means. A compound movement means using more than one joint at once.
Exactly right. Yeah. And then back, obviously deadlifts and rows.
Barbell rows, yeah. Definitely. Barbell rows, even lat pull down.
Yeah.
Lat pull down is
Dumbbell
very,
rows.
Yep. Dumbbell rows, anything.
Yep. Now we'll go back to deadlift. Do you deadlift? And if you don't, why not? And don't give me the excuse that I've got a sore back or it's dangerous. I actually fixed my back by deadlifting.
Do you remember a few years ago when I actually couldn't even stand? Like when I would struggle to get into my car because my lower back was so sore.
Yep.
And how weak it was.
That's right.
It's because I neglected deadlifts because I had that mentality that no, this is what hurt my back in the first place.
I had the same thing.
Yep.
And it wasn't until I started deadlifting that my back actually strengthened.
Yeah.
And I was able to build more muscle in my back, develop more core strength, which helped me in all other exercises.
Yeah, definitely.
So really, and a deadlift, if your deadlift is going up, as far as I'm concerned, you are building muscle everywhere.
It's the king of exercises
It's the
for a
king
reason.
of exercise.
You can't cheat it.
No, and there's nothing more manly than picking up a big weight off the ground.
Definitely.
Yeah. So a good deadlift is really, you should aim for double your body weight.
Double body weight.
But triple body weight, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can do a triple body weight deadlift, you're going to be a big man or woman.
Or woman.
Yes.
Especially
and
when
this
you've got-
applies to... Now, I will now quickly add that these principles apply to men and women.
Yes, they do.
The training principles are exactly the same. Regardless if you're male or female, you should be applying these principles to your training. All right, form.
See, this is
Now this is a real
this is a fun topic to discuss.
Look, everyone carries on about form. People will put up pictures. There was actually a video I saw yesterday of the world's strongest man, and these guys were throwing up 200-pound dumbbells.
Yeah.
And the idea was that you pick the dumbbell up off the ground and you hoist it up in an extended movement with a lock elbows to lock. Now, I looked at the video and I was my first thought was, wow, that's impressive. Look at these guys throwing these 200-pound dumbbells up. But the comments from people were, oh yeah, they're bending their knees and jerking their body, whereas 95% of these people wouldn't have been able to lift this dumbbell off the ground.
Yeah.
You know? So you have to keep form in mind, but when you're going heavy and when you're going at the end of your set where you're at your maximum limit, your form is going to be loose.
Yes, of course.
And I'm talking loose, but I'm not talking really bad form.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be loose. If you're doing a PR in a deadlift, your form is going to be a bit loose. But as long as the bar moves in a straight line up and down, you're not going to injure yourself. So keep your form tight, but be aware that when you get to the limits of your set, those last 2 reps, the form is going to be a bit loose. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually of a benefit, I feel. Time and attention.
Okay, so time and attention. Boils down to more of a hypertrophy thing.
Yep.
Hypertrophy is obviously the muscle growing. That's what growth means. Hypertrophy to grow, atrophy to lose size. They say the best time for hypertrophy when from 45 to 70 seconds.
Yep.
Muscle is under load. This can be boiled down to, however, using a lightweight for a low, slow tempo, so 3 seconds up, 1 second down, or 1 second up, 3 seconds down. Or it can be applied to a maximum effort set for as many as you can with a constant, constant movement.
Which is what we try to do.
We try doing that.
Whenever we do a set, an exercise, we will keep that weight moving without locking out your elbow, locking out your knees for as many reps as possible.
Many reps as you can.
And then at the end of that, you might lock out, catch your breath, and then do 3 or 4 1 reps at a time to put more stress on. But you keep that tension on that muscle for as long as possible. If you watch any pro train, again, they get so much attack for their form, because a lot of times their form is very short, but what they're doing is they're keeping that muscle under tension all the time. If you watch them bench press or even dumbbell press, it's a short movement, the elbow doesn't lock out, it goes back down, back up, so they're keeping that tension on that muscle as long as possible.
With this, Larry Wills recently put up a 305 kilo bench press video.
I saw that.
Where he literally unracked it, it fell, it bounced off his chest, and he pushed it back up. Now, the first comment was, he was bouncing off his chest. But sorry my language, he fucking pushed 300 kilos off himself.
Not only that, he held 300 kilos above his head. So I think everyone is too eager to attack all these people. The thing is, you have a look at Larry Wheels, he's a big unit, and that's because he throws around big weights. Ronnie Coleman, biggest bodybuilder in the world, because he throws around big weights.
And these people,
Rami,
these people
throws in big weights.
have found a way to lift a maximum amount of weight in the safest way for them.
Exactly right.
With some people, if they will do the full range of motion, they might injure themselves.
That's right.
Myself, if I go a shoulder press all the way down, I know my AC joint's going to go.
Exactly.
So I won't do that.
Yep.
I've developed the most safest way for myself to maintain the most maximum amount of weight and volume on my body without causing an injury.
Exactly right. If you are using time under tension, which I'd suggest you use time under tension, it still then applies to that progressive overload, so that you're constantly trying to beat the numbers that you did the previous week.
Intensity.
Exactly right.
Intensity.
All right. Is vomiting a sign of a good workout?
Hell no.
Yep.
Kimmo, when you're sick, do you think vomiting's a good thing?
No, it's not. It's fucking horrible.
Exactly. When you vomit, your body's trying to purge whatever it doesn't like it in there. It's trying to purge it out. So if your PT or your coach is pushing you to vomiting every single time,
get a new coach.
It's dangerous for you. It's actually, it can be bad on your gut and your gut microbiome, which is a completely other video I can't even get into because I know nothing about it. But vomiting, purging is not good for yourself.
No. And it's not a sign that it's a good workout.
No.
Look, I could grab anyone off the street, even a seasoned trainer, put them through something stupid, put them into an uncomfortable situation, not let them recover, not let them breathe properly, and they'll vomit, and it does means jack shit that it was a good workout.
It just means
all it means is that I made you vomit.
Yeah.
And that's actually not a good thing.
When you go to an all-you-can-eat restaurant, do you eat until you vomit? And go, that was the best meal of my life. No, you don't.
All right. A couple of more things that we'll just touch on. Do I need a coach?
I would say this is subjective.
It's not something that's necessary, but there are so many advantages to having a coach.
There is.
One is that you're more accountable.
Very much so.
Two, a coach can help you with that exercise form or teaching you how to do an exercise. For instance, if you've never deadlifted before, I'd suggest that you go to someone who's a good deadlifting coach, maybe someone even with a powerlifting background, and pay for a few sessions to learn how to deadlift. Definitely. And your favourite about getting the coach? Programs takes thinking out.
Exactly.
So you don't have to worry about what am I going to do. It's all written down for you, and then you just follow the program, follow the numbers, try to beat the numbers.
Coaches take the guesswork out of it for you.
Exactly right.
Good coaches, I should say. So periodization. They won't just write down do bench for like 10 sets.
But for instance, you do coaching in a way.
Yeah, I do.
But they don't have to come to you. It's not personal training.
No,
it's coaching.
Not. It's coaching, yeah.
So it's drawing up a program, whether it's a weight training program or even a nutritional program, and then taking out the guesswork for you.
Exactly.
So that you can just go away on your own and then follow it.
Yeah. I don't like to micromanage people. I like to give them the tools to learn themselves. If I am, and the best thing I do about that is I take the guesswork out of it for you. You've got numbers in front of you every session, and you know, okay, I know I need to get this. I need these certain numbers, this certain weight to progress myself from the previous week.
Okay. So yes, definitely think about it. If you're not sure about training and you want to be put onto a good program, well then seek out a good coach.
One other thing I should mention is, if you want to find a good coach, make sure the coach is stronger than you. I can't tell you how many times I've seen on Instagram especially where these guys, deadlifting 200, but their coach can't deadlift 160. Why are you getting taught something when you're obviously better than them at it?
That's right.
You wouldn't, if you're a NASCAR driver, you wouldn't go to a guy who just got his P's and go, can you teach me to do that? You know, make sure the coach knows what they're talking about. Okay,
our last topic, and this is something that we've discussed a lot on Thursday Thunder, and I just see it constantly, non-stop, and that's motivation. I see so many people put up, what can I do to get motivated? I want to get stronger, but I just can't be bothered going to the gym, and I always tell people that it's hard for me to answer that question because I always want to train. But there's days that I don't want to train, but I still train. And usually, as soon as you get in there and you pick up the weights and do your first set, you're all right. But a couple of ways that you can be motivated or get some motivation, and one is, as we just spoke before, is to get a coach. So if you've actually paid someone for a program, you've got all the numbers in front of you, you've got all the exercises in front of you, it's going to be a lot easier for you to get to the gym.
Yes, exactly.
Another one is to get a training partner. If you have a training partner who is relying on you to get there at 5 o'clock every day and who's going to be let down if you don't rock up, that's a lot of motivation as well.
It is.
Goal setting.
This is my biggest.
And I think that this is one of the most. This is what I use. I had for so many months. I had a goal of doing a 180 kilo deadlift, and that just kept me going. I wanted to get that 180 kilo deadlift. I got that 180 kilo deadlift, and my goal now is to get a 200 kilo deadlift. So putting some sort of goals, whether it's a 200 kilo squat, 150 kilo bench, 200 kilo deadlift, or double body weight deadlift, or whatever, those goals can be enough to motivate you to keep training. Change your program. Now this is something that we get asked a lot about as well. How often should I change my program? Well, I think your program should run for at least a minimum of 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
But if you're beating your numbers on that program quite convincingly every workout, there's no reason for you to keep going to 6 to 8 weeks. So if you're progressing, don't change the program. If you find you've reached a little bit of a plateau, change the program. We like to change our program about every 4 weeks. 4 weeks. And we just do it so that we're going on to something different. And our programs, like I said, we apply progressive overload to them. So week 1 of a program, the reps are fairly high. And as they go through to week 3 to week 4, which we're on week 4 now, all the weights are pretty heavy. Reps are really low, but the numbers are still being beaten each time as much as possible. And then that's the other good thing about writing everything down. Like I said, I've got at least 6 to 8 months worth of workouts on my phone. If we go back to a certain exercise that we haven't done in 4 or 5 weeks, all I need to do is go back through my list, I'll find it. Oh yeah, incline bench press, the last time I did that, these were the numbers. And so that'll be the numbers that I'll start working on to try and beat again.
That's one thing that helps my motivation, is going back, maybe 6-7 months ago and reading like, wow, my max incline bench was 123 kilos, but now I'm repping 118 kilos.
That's right.
So it's one of those things where you motivate yourself by looking about how far you've come in that amount of time.
And that's the next thing I got on here is journaling, keeping track of your workouts, seeing the progress that you've been getting, it's going to be motivation.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Now, if you're not seeing progress, then there's something is wrong.
Yeah.
And it most probably is that you just aren't applying yourself hard enough.
Yeah. Yeah. You're overtraining. Well, I wouldn't say overtraining. I say under recovering.
Yeah. I think
yourself.
most of it boils down to you're just not trying hard enough.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Really,
Yeah.
it really does boil down to that fact. For instance, last week, remember we had one of our gym members was on our doing a bench press, and he was asking about how to progress basically in bench press. That I only do 5 or 6 reps on this. That's about my maximum that I can do.
Yep.
I went through and spotted him.
Yeah.
And before I even touched the bar, he did 8.
Yeah.
And that's only because he had the confidence that someone was standing there behind
exactly.
him. So ask for help, get a spot, and you'll be surprised that you'll be able to get 2 or 3 reps
Oh yeah, exactly.
more.
Yep.
And that's where your training partner will
Don't
help.
be scared to fail.
Yep.
As cliche as it is.
And the last thing is to for motivation is that train to get stronger. There's nothing more motivating than you reaching or beating previous numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
100% agree.
Yep. So that's it. That really is a simple guideline to training. Some of you might think that that's a pretty simple approach, but really that's all it is.
No, that's all it is.
You speak to any old-timer training, anybody who's training in a longer time, and that is the principles that they apply to their training.
They're just going to say, do the basics.
Yep.
Do them well.
Do them well. Yep. If you get yourself a training, one really good quote I heard was that get yourself a program and get good at that program.
Yeah.
Meaning, progress, get stronger, lift more, do more reps. Don't just do the same thing all the time.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it.
I hope this helps, and I hope you got something out of it. We will be doing another video. The next one we'll talk a little bit about nutrition, which is also very, very simple.
Yeah.
Yep. And we'll catch you guys next time on that one. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe and to like, and to check out our Thursday Thunders as well, which come out every Thursday, for all sorts of just general information.
General chit chats, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. See ya.
Bye.